Hulk Hogan died of cardiac arrest at 71 years old on Thursday morning in Clearwater, Florida, and within hours, WWE turned his death into the most disgusting display of corporate hypocrisy in wrestling history. Terry Bollea, the man who built the foundation that every current WWE superstar stands on, was pronounced dead at Morton Plant Hospital, and the company's response has been so calculated, so fake, and so insultingly transparent that wrestling fans are revolting against their own heroes. Roman Reigns, the man who WWE has forced down our throats as the head of the table, waited over 24 hours to post a tribute that reads like it was written by a legal team. 3 corporate sentences that say absolutely nothing about the man who created the template for every WWE main eventer since 1984. But here's what's going to make your blood boil. Roman posted Instagram stories about his workout routine, his family vacation, and his meal prep before he acknowledged that wrestling's biggest legend had died. Triple H's tribute is even more insulting. This is the same executive who erased Hogan from WWE history in 2015, who signed off on removing his merchandise, deleting his Hall of Fame profile, and pretending he never existed. Now he wants to play the grieving friend with flowery words about brotherhood and mentorship that make anyone with a functioning memory want to scream. The wrestling world is exploding with rage, and it's not about Hogan's controversial past. It's about WWE's shameless exploitation of his death and the fake grief being peddled by stars who treated him like a disease when he was alive. Let me paint you a picture of just how disgusting Roman Reigns' response to Hogan's death really was. Hogan's family announced his passing at 11:47 a.m. on Thursday. Roman's Instagram was active that entire day, posting workout videos, behind-the-scenes content from Raw, family photos, and even responding to fan comments about completely unrelated topics. But when it came to acknowledging the death of the man who literally made his career possible, radio silence for over 24 hours. When Roman finally posted his tribute at 2:31 a.m. on Friday, it was a masterclass in saying nothing while pretending to care. Hulk Hogan paved the way for all of us in this business. His contributions to WWE and sports entertainment will never be forgotten. Rest in peace. 43 words. 43 words for the man who created the blueprint that Roman has followed his entire career. But here's what's going to absolutely infuriate you. Roman posted a longer, more emotional tribute when his landscaper quit last month. I'm not joking. He wrote 5 paragraphs about loyalty and dedication for someone who cut his grass, but couldn't manage more than 3 sentences for Hulk Hogan. The fan backlash has been brutal. Comments like, "You posted more about your dog groomer than Hulk Hogan," and 24 hours to copy-paste a WWE press release, are flooding his social media. Wrestling fans are sharing screenshots showing Roman's active Instagram stories throughout the day Hogan died, proving he had time to post about everything except the biggest wrestling legend in history. Even worse, sources backstage are reporting that Roman initially didn't want to post anything about Hogan's death. He argued with WWE's PR team that any tribute would be controversial and could damage his image. It was only after threats about contractual obligations that he agreed to post the minimal corporate statement that appeared a full day later. If Roman's response was cowardly, Triple H's tribute was straight-up vomit-inducing for anyone who remembers what actually happened in 2015. This is the same Paul Levesque who, as Executive Vice President of Talent, Live Events and Creative, was directly responsible for Hogan's complete erasure from WWE programming following his racist audio scandal. Triple H signed off on removing Hogan from WWE video games. He approved the deletion of Hogan's Hall of Fame profile. He was in the room when WWE made the decision to pull all Hogan merchandise and cancel his upcoming appearances. He personally oversaw the systematic destruction of Hogan's legacy within the company. But now, with Hogan safely dead and unable to contradict the narrative, Triple H wants to paint himself as the grieving friend who always supported the legend. His Instagram tribute is a fiction novel. Terry was more than a colleague, he was family. Behind the scenes, away from the cameras, he was a mentor who shaped not just my career, but who I am as a person and leader. Really, Hunter, where was all that family love when you were erasing every trace of Hogan from WWE history? Where was the mentorship narrative when you were telling wrestlers backstage to distance themselves from Hogan because he was toxic to the brand? Where was the leadership when you threw wrestling's biggest legend under the bus to protect WWE's corporate image? The comments section under Triple H's tribute has become a battlefield. Fans are posting side-by-side screenshots of 2015 WWE press releases announcing Hogan's termination next to Hunter's current family claims. The hypocrisy is so blatant that even WWE loyalists are calling it out. One comment with over 20,000 likes simply reads, "The same man who deleted Hogan from WWE history now claims they were family. This is why nobody trusts WWE anymore." Another viral response posted the exact wording from Wee's 2015 statement calling Hogan's actions completely unacceptable and inconsistent with our values, alongside Hunter's current tribute calling him an irreplaceable part of our WWE family. Here's where WWE's response to Hogan's death becomes absolutely sickening and proves this was never about grief or respect, it was about money from the very first moment. Within 3 hours of Hogan's death being announced, Wee's online shop started restocking Hulk Hogan merchandise that had been unavailable for years. T-shirts featuring Hogan's image that were pulled from WWE shop in 2015 and never returned suddenly appeared with Memorial Collection tags and premium pricing. The same Hulkamania Lives Forever shirt that WWE banned from their stores was back in stock before Hogan's body was even cold, now marketed as a tribute to the legend's lasting impact. The speed of this merchandise rollout proves that WWE had contingency plans ready for Hogan's death. While Roman Reigns couldn't write a proper tribute for 24 hours, Wee's merchandising team had tribute t-shirts, commemorative championship belts, and memorial photo books ready to sell within hours of the announcement. But it gets even more disgusting. WWE has announced a Hulk Hogan Forever collection, featuring exclusive items that were never available during his lifetime. They're literally creating new merchandise to profit from his death while pretending their tributes are about honoring his memory. The pricing is absolutely offensive. Items that sold for $25 when Hogan was alive are now $45 as limited edition memorial merchandise. WWE is charging fans premium prices for the privilege of buying tribute items for a man they spent years pretending didn't exist. Fans are posting screenshots showing the exact same items marked as unavailable just days before Hogan's death, then suddenly back in stock with in memory of marketing language. The opportunism is so shameless that even WWE's most dedicated supporters are calling it grave robbing. Wrestling journalists with inside sources are reporting details about WWE's internal response to Hogan's death that make their public tributes look even more calculated and disgusting than they already appeared. The real story of what happened behind the scenes at WWE headquarters when news of Hogan's cardiac arrest broke is nothing like the brotherhood narrative they're selling to the public. According to multiple sources within WWE, the immediate reaction wasn't grief or shock, it was panic about how to handle the public relations nightmare. An emergency conference call was organized within 2 hours of Hogan's death, featuring Triple H, Roman Reigns, Wee's legal team, and their crisis management consultants. The first question wasn't, how do we honor his legacy? Or, what can we do for his family? It was, how do we address this without reigniting the controversy from 2015? WWE executives were more concerned about protecting their corporate image than showing basic human decency to a deceased legend. Sources report that Roman Reigns refused to post any tribute initially, arguing that acknowledging Hogan could damage his brand and potentially hurt his sponsorship deals. It took direct pressure from WWE's board of directors and threats about breach of contract before Roman agreed to post anything, and even then, he insisted on the most minimal statement possible. Triple H's tribute went through 6 different drafts, with each version reviewed by WWE's legal department to ensure it couldn't contradict previous corporate statements about Hogan's termination. The family and mentorship language was specifically chosen because it's personal rather than professional, allowing Triple H to claim friendship while avoiding any admission that Wee's treatment of Hogan was wrong. The most damaging revelation is that WWE executives seriously discussed whether to acknowledge Hogan's death on television at all. The idea of simply ignoring it entirely on Monday Night Raw was genuinely considered before being rejected as too obviously heartless for public consumption. Behind the scenes at WWE, current wrestlers are reportedly furious about being pressured to participate in what they see as a disgusting exploitation of Hogan's death for corporate public relations purposes. Multiple sources describe a locker room uprising among performers who are tired of being forced to lie for WWE's image management. Younger wrestlers who were specifically told to avoid Hogan during his 2018-2020 return are now being ordered to post tributes praising him, creating an impossible situation where their public statements directly contradict their previous instructions from the same executives. Female wrestlers are particularly angry about the pressure to honor someone whose sexist comments were deemed incompatible with WWE's values just years ago. Being forced to tribute someone whose attitudes toward women were previously called unacceptable feels like a betrayal of the progress they've fought to achieve within the company. Black wrestlers within WWE are facing the most impossible position, with some choosing complete silence rather than being pressured to provide cover for executives who are trying to rehabilitate someone whose racist audio recordings were captured and widely distributed. The psychological pressure they're under from WWE management is being described as emotional blackmail. Several wrestlers have privately expressed disgust at watching Roman Reigns and Triple H play grieving friends while knowing the truth about how they actually treated Hogan behind the scenes. Sources describe the phoniness as so obvious to people who witnessed the real relationships that it's destroying morale and trust within the company. Most explosively, multiple wrestlers are reportedly considering going public with their knowledge of WWE's hypocrisy, potentially creating a media firestorm that could expose even more uncomfortable truths about the company's treatment of legends and their handling of controversial situations. Some performers are using coded language in their own social media posts to express their real feelings without directly contradicting WWE's narrative, leading to a wave of cryptic messages that fans are interpreting as subtle criticism of the company's response. Wrestling organizations around the world are watching WWE's hypocritical response to Hogan's death, and their reactions are making American wrestling look absolutely pathetic by comparison. International promotions are posting genuine, respectful tributes that acknowledge both Hogan's contributions and his controversies, showing the maturity and honesty that WWE completely lacks. New Japan Pro Wrestling's tribute managed to honor Hogan's wrestling innovations and global impact while acknowledging that all legends are complex human beings whose full stories include both triumph and failure. Their statement was respectful, honest, and infinitely more dignified than anything WWE produced. Impact Wrestling, despite often being criticized for poor decision-making, crafted a tribute that was both heartfelt and authentic. Hulk Hogan's wrestling contributions cannot be denied, and his controversies remind us that our heroes are human beings capable of both greatness and grave mistakes. We honor the performer while acknowledging the complicated man. Even more damaging to WWE's credibility are the tributes from individual international wrestlers. Wrestlers from AEW, New Japan, and independent promotions worldwide have posted thoughtful remembrances that manage to be respectful to Hogan's memory while maintaining their integrity and honesty about his complex legacy. The contrast is so stark that wrestling fans are using international tributes as examples of how WWE should have handled the situation. Comments like, "Why does Impact Wrestling show more class than the company Hogan helped build?" and "Japanese wrestlers understand respect better than WWE executives," are trending worldwide. International wrestling media is covering the story completely differently, focusing on WWE's contradictory behavior rather than just reporting tributes at face value. British wrestling magazines are running exposé articles about WWE's opportunism, while Japanese wrestling websites are analyzing the cultural differences in how legends should be honored versus exploited. The global wrestling community's unified criticism of WWE's approach is creating international embarrassment for American wrestling's biggest company, potentially damaging their expansion efforts in markets where authenticity and respect are valued over corporate manipulation. Wrestling fans have launched the most coordinated and devastating social media campaign against WWE's corporate hypocrisy in the company's history, and their documentation of WWE's contradictory treatment of Hogan is creating a permanent record that will haunt the company for decades. The hashtag WWE hypocrisy exposed is trending worldwide, with fans posting side-by-side comparisons of WWE's 2015 statements calling Hogan's actions unforgivable, next to their current tributes calling him irreplaceable. The visual evidence of WWE's contradictions is so overwhelming that even mainstream media outlets are picking up the story. Reddit wrestling communities have created detailed timelines documenting every single instance of WWE distancing themselves from Hogan over the past decade, then contrasting it with their current memorial statements. The research is so thorough that it reads like a legal brief against WWE's credibility. Wrestling Twitter has become a 24/7 fact-checking operation, with fans immediately responding to every WWE tribute post with screenshots, video clips, and documented quotes proving the company's hypocrisy. WWE's own social media has become a battleground where their corporate messaging is being systematically destroyed by their own audience. The fan response has been so intense and well documented that it's affecting WWE's stock price. Financial analysts are expressing concern about the backlash and what it means for WWE's relationship with their core audience. When your own fans' criticism of your integrity becomes a factor in your market valuation, you've crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. Most significantly, the fan campaign has created a generational divide within WWE's audience. Older fans who lived through Hulkamania are disgusted by how WWE treated their childhood hero during his final years, while younger fans are appalled by the company's opportunistic response to his death. WWE has managed to alienate both demographics simultaneously. Wrestling insiders are revealing the truth about Roman Reigns' actual relationship with Hulk Hogan during his 2018-2020 WWE return, and the details make his pathetic tribute look even more fake and calculated than anyone imagined. Multiple backstage sources confirm that Roman not only avoided Hogan but actively lobbied against working with him. During Hogan's comeback appearances, Roman would literally leave catering areas when Hogan entered, according to multiple witnesses. This wasn't subtle, it was obvious enough that other wrestlers noticed and commented on Roman's deliberate avoidance of the legend. The most damaging revelation is that Roman's team specifically requested that he not be booked in segments with Hogan, arguing that any association could be damaging to his marketability. While other wrestlers were honored to work with and learn from Hogan, Roman treated him like a liability to be avoided at all costs. Sources report that Roman lobbied WWE creative to keep Hogan off Monday Night Raw episodes when Roman was scheduled for major segments, claiming that Hogan's presence would be controversial and potentially hurt the show's sponsor relationships. This is the same Roman who now claims Hogan paved the way for all of us. Even more telling, when WWE offered Roman the opportunity to do a special WrestleMania segment with Hogan in 2019, Roman's representatives declined, citing concerns about brand alignment. They turned down a WrestleMania moment with wrestling's biggest legend because it might hurt Roman's image. Hogan was reportedly aware of Roman's coldness and was hurt by the rejection. The legendary wrestler, who was trying to rebuild relationships within WWE after his exile, couldn't understand why the company's top star was treating him like a pariah. Hogan allegedly asked Triple H about Roman's attitude and was told it was just business, nothing personal. These revelations make Roman's current tribute look like the most pathetic kind of opportunism, refusing to show basic respect to Hogan while he was alive, then posting corporate-approved condolences when he's safely dead and can't call out the hypocrisy. WWE's monetization of Hogan's death has reached levels of shamelessness that are shocking even by their standards, proving that every aspect of their tribute response was calculated for maximum profit rather than genuine respect for the deceased legend. Within 48 hours of Hogan's death, WWE announced not just merchandise but an entire Hulk Hogan legacy experience, including premium-priced documentary content, exclusive interview packages, and never-before-seen footage that they've been sitting on for years. They're literally auctioning off pieces of Hogan's legacy to the highest bidder. The most offensive development is WWE's announcement of a Hulk Hogan tribute tour, featuring live events where current wrestlers will honor his memory through specially choreographed matches and segments. Ticket prices for these events are 40% higher than regular house shows, meaning WWE is charging premium prices for fans to watch them exploit Hogan's death. WWE has also announced plans for a Hulk Hogan Memorial Championship, a new title that will be defended exclusively at premium live events, requiring fans to pay for Peacock subscriptions or pay-per-view purchases to see matches for a belt that exists solely to profit from a dead man's name. The streaming numbers tell the story of WWE's true motivations. Within hours of Hogan's death, WWE promoted his matches and documentary content across all their platforms, seeing massive spikes in viewership that translate directly to advertising revenue and subscription renewals. Most disgustingly, WWE has reached out to Hogan's family about licensing deals for his name and likeness, reportedly offering to help preserve his legacy through official WWE merchandise and content, for a substantial percentage of the profits, of course. The speed and scope of WWE's commercialization of Hogan's death proves that their tributes were never about honoring his memory, they were about positioning themselves to profit from his death while looking respectful enough to avoid public backlash. The long-term damage to WWE's credibility and moral authority from their handling of Hogan's death extends far beyond this single incident and will fundamentally change how wrestling fans view the company's relationship with their legends and their audience. WWE has permanently lost the trust of wrestling fans who value authenticity over corporate manipulation. Every future tribute, every memorial moment, every claim of respecting legends will be viewed through the lens of how they exploited Hogan's death for profit while pretending to honor his memory. Roman Reigns and Triple H have irreparably damaged their reputations with wrestling fans who now have documented proof of their willingness to lie for corporate convenience. Their future statements about respect, brotherhood, and honoring wrestling history will be met with reminders of how they actually treated Hogan when it mattered. The impact on WWE's relationship with other wrestling legends is potentially catastrophic. Retired wrestlers watching how WWE treated Hogan in death after erasing him in life or reconsidering their own relationships with the company. Several legends have reportedly canceled planned appearances and declined participation in WWE projects. WWE's moral authority to speak about respect, integrity, and honoring wrestling history has been completely destroyed. They've proven that their values are whatever is most profitable in the moment, and that their tributes to legends are just another form of content marketing. Most significantly, WWE has demonstrated to their current roster that company loyalty means nothing when it becomes inconvenient. If they can erase and then exploit Hulk Hogan, the man who built their empire, then no wrestler is safe from similar treatment when their usefulness expires. The financial implications are already becoming apparent, with declining engagement on WWE's official social media, negative reactions to their tribute programming, and growing criticism from mainstream media outlets who are covering the hypocrisy story rather than just reporting the death. The wrestling community's reaction to WWE's handling of Hulk Hogan's death has rendered a final, devastating judgment on the company's character, integrity, and respect for the legends who built their empire. Roman Reigns' pathetic delayed tribute and Triple H's revisionist history Instagram post will be remembered as textbook examples of how corporate greed and fake grief can destroy whatever authenticity WWE had left. This story has become bigger than just inappropriate tributes or opportunistic merchandise sales. It's about a wrestling company that has lost its soul completely, that views its own legends as nothing more than content to be exploited or erased depending on what's most profitable in the moment. Wrestling fans have seen through WWE's manipulation so completely that the company's credibility may never recover. The documentation of their hypocrisy is so thorough, so damning, and so widely distributed that it will follow WWE for decades. Every future controversy will be measured against how they treated Hulk Hogan in death after abandoning him in life. The international wrestling community's unified disgust with WWE's behavior proves that this isn't just American fan complaints. It's a global recognition that WWE has crossed lines that can't be uncrossed. They've shown the world that American wrestling's biggest company has no integrity, no respect for legends, and no genuine emotion beyond what can be monetized. But most importantly, wrestling fans have proven that they're smarter, more principled, and more authentic than the executives who consistently underestimate them. They can handle complex truths about their heroes, but they won't tolerate being lied to by people who think they're too stupid to remember recent history. WWE wanted to control the narrative around Hogan's death, but instead they've created a permanent record of their own moral bankruptcy. The wrestling world's judgment is final, and it's damning. What's your reaction to WWE's disgusting exploitation of Hogan's death? Are you buying Roman and Triple H's fake tributes, or do you remember how they actually treated wrestling's biggest legend when he was alive? The comments section is where the real wrestling conversation happens, and fans are absolutely destroying WWE's credibility in ways the company never expected. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Wrestling News CC family, where the real stories of WWE come to life. See you in the next one.